You're tuned into special coverage of Repco Beach Hop 17. It's autumn, and although the Coromandel's busy summer holiday season is done and dusted, the hop heats up the peninsula in a new way as thousands of classic cars, bikes and caravans roll their way into Whangamata. Throw in a generous helping of good old-fashioned rock and roll and 100,000 spectators or so, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why Repco Beach Hop holds the crown as the biggest nostalgia festival in the Southern Hemisphere.
Okay, Repco Beach Hop. We've got 5 days, 4 towns, 1,200 registered vehicles. We've got rock and roll music. We've got people dressed up in 50s and 60s gear. Wind back the clock, step back in time. We're in Greece, we're in happy days. That's what Repco Beach Hop's all about.
The Repco Beach Hop still embraces its rock and roll roots, but nowadays the cars have gone from supporting act to centre stage.
It's great to be involved. It gets bigger and better every year, and we keep saying it can't get any better, but it always does, and that's a real testament to the organisers and to the entrants, and to see so many people travel from so many different parts of the country to attend it reinforces, you know, what a fantastic event it is.
1960s, 50s era, rock and roll costume. It's a bit of a time warp for a lot of people if they stepped into this, that's for sure.
You're almost lost for words to see it. You know, we have them in the States also, but nothing like this. On a scale of 10, I'd give it an 11.
It's not always about going fast, it's about enjoying and cruising and taking in the sights, and, you know, people with car culture in their blood, and this is certainly car culture at its absolute best.
Yeah, it is a monster, it's a beast, but it's something we've got under control, you know, it's not out of control. We've got a fantastic team behind us, our entrants are fantastic. It's a well-oiled machine, and it goes like clockwork.
While the hop calls Whangamata home, that's really not the full story here. Early birds barely have the chance to unpack before the tanks get topped up and the show hits the road, visiting the neighbouring towns of Whangamata and Whitianga, as well as warming into things with this convoy, which headed out bright and early on Wednesday for the Coromandel gold mining town of Waihi. Day one used to be a nice ease into the festival, but these days, Waihi's Main Street would argue otherwise.
Every year we come here, it just gets bigger and bigger. It's daunting, to be honest. We talk to so many people. By the end of each day, we're exhausted, but it's great. And it's just great to see people out here enjoying themselves, being part of the whole event. Awesome.
This is Wednesday. This is the middle of the week, you know. These people here that you see, they're not at work, and there's thousands of them. The Go Waihi warm-up party, it used to be literally that, a warm-up, you know, like it's just the slow sort of start to the event. But over the last few years, it's just snowballed out and out. And it's now a thing where, like, everyone knows they've got to be at Waihi. So the cruise this morning over from Whangamata, huge, you know, like it's just every year it's just bigger and bigger.
I think most people spend 9 months of the year with their cars sitting in the garage, and then we've got 3 months of the New Zealand season. And yeah, so everybody's out and about and cruising and just having a good time. Everybody's like-minded. It's wonderful.
The hop keeps things old school and sets a general 1972 cutoff. While vehicles of other origins are most welcome, it's clear that we Kiwis have a thing for tin from the good old US of A. And today, they line the Waihi streets. However, they weren't the only popular American in town.
Well, I'm Gene Winfield, and I'm here from California. And Noddy brought me over for the beach hop, and I just flew in this morning, so I'm all kind of sleepy and, you know, a little bit messed up, but I love it. Everything is just beautiful. It's a fantastic show that he puts on here every year, and I've been trying to get here for 3 or 4 years, and I finally made it.
Gene Winfield is a living legend in the custom car world and one of the true pioneers of the hobby. Closing in on 90 candles, this is a man who has helped shape the world of custom paint and bodywork from the 1940s up. Styling cues we and he still use today.
No, I had no idea in my early days that it would grow to be this kind of momentum and so many things going on. I might have done things different. But anyway, but no, I love every bit of it, and I still work every day, and I started the blending of paint, and I'm still doing that. They fly me all over the world to paint a car. People ask me all the time, when am I going to retire? I tell them when I can't work anymore, when they put me in the ground. I'm going to keep going and going and going.
The Go Waihi warm-up party takes up an ever-increasing chunk of the small town's real estate, and cars overflowed from the main street up to the edges of the mine. This is not your average parking lot. Waihi gets bonus points for its weather. Wednesday was drop-top friendly, and needing no further reason was Bradley West in his 64.
Yeah, no, I love getting it out on a sunny day and taking it for a drive. It's obviously a good sunny day car, not so good when it's raining, but yeah, no, it's good to be out and cruising the local roads and enjoying it. So it's a 64 Impala convertible, running an LS1 with independent throttle bodies, 700R gearbox and a limited slip rear end. Probably been building it about 4.5 years to get it to where it is now. The colour scheme was always sort of what I wanted originally. I was going to just chuck the 283 back in, but then I stumbled across the LS1 and sort of things probably snowballed from there really. Once I realised the body needed a bit of work, so yeah, got a bit carried away. Might as well do it once and do it how I wanted it to do it, so yeah.
The Impala made a brief appearance last year, but for Brad, number 17 was the real deal, and his grand plan was a simple one.
Just getting out there, catching up with mates, cruising with the boys, having a few beers, having a good week, really.
The Hop always attracts a strong South Island contingent, and this year was no different. A spectator in 2016, Dean wasn't keen to watch from the sidelines this time around and brought his Chevy pickup and a bunch of mates with him.
Oh, we were just blown away by the variety and the standard of the cars, really, and the whole hospitality and just the atmosphere was really, really good. So I told them, and here we are. Okay, 1948 Chevy pickup. Had it for 10 years, bought it as a project, just a pile of parts basically, and yeah, managed to put it together. The chassis is the original frame. It's stepped up at the back, put a K-member, boxed it, and hold an independent front end, and it's just got a small block 350 Chev, alloy heads, mild cam, turbo 400 trans, and Ford four-corner rear end. Nothing groundbreaking, just good, solid, reliable stuff. The hardest part of the build being the original panels. Every panel was off a different vehicle and trying to make them fit. Doors overlapping the back pillars and just generally trying to get the gaps right and body panels aligned, and yeah, it was tricky to say the least.
2017 was already shaping up to be big, and those numbers might be due to people like Vern, who decided his LS1 powered 33 Coupe, a previous top 5 car, needed some company this time around.
Yeah, I started collecting cars a little while back when I retired, and every time you see a car you want to buy it and can't afford it, but yeah, I was a little bit lucky with the 33 Coupe that had been on the market for a while, and my win was his loss, unfortunately, and it's a great little car. And the other car was built by a guy, James Flynn, over in West Auckland, and built by Rocket in Hamilton. That's been a great car as well, quite different. That's a 37 Ford Roadster. It's got a 347 crate motor, and they're both quite different cars, but they both go well, look good.
Different, yes, but there's a bit of a theme here. Vern is clearly a fan of a more modern interpretation of Ford's factory design.
I feel it's a little bit of a fraud when you see the big old original steel cars, and you feel a bit of a fraud, but that goes away once you get in the car and drive them. Having these sort of cars keeps it alive, and you know, once you turn the volume up on the stereo and get a bit of 50s rock in there, you forget it's not a steel car. It's the enjoyment of being on the road with them, and especially places like Whangamata. When you come down here every year, it's something to look forward to and meet a lot of neat people, and that's what does it for me anyway.
Thursday means one thing, the Repco Whitianga Beach Party. A change from the usual Tairua destination also meant a whole lot more miles spent behind the wheel, but we didn't hear anyone complaining.
Absolutely. What's the point of having the car if you're not going to use it? You know, there are a couple of trailer queens in New Zealand, not many, fortunately. That's not what Beach Hop is about, certainly not what I'm about.
It goes to show how much the Kiwis love the old sort of road trip mentality or driving their cars, you know. If this was America, there'd be trailers parked everywhere, you know, whereas the Kiwis drive their cars. Hey, it was raining this morning, that hasn't put anyone off. Hey, you clock up the miles, you enjoy it. It's miles per gallon, not miles per gallon.
As the big weekend nears, more and more people ditch work to get in on the action. And the 150k round trip from Whangamata to Whirianga saw the cruise numbers swell. Despite some very ominous black clouds early in the morning, Whirianga did its bit by turning on the sunshine. And on arrival, the convoy had no trouble packing out the main drag, spilling onto nearby reserves along the water's edge. The Repco Beach Party was officially underway.
Change of scenery for us this year at the Repco Beach Party. Moved from Tairua through to Whirianga. Equally as beautiful. Great to see the suns come out, and also the quality and the quantity of the vehicles that have made the run through is a real testament to the commitment that these hot rod people have. Year 3 for us as naming right sponsors. Sort of once March hits, we know it's Beach Hop month for us, so we have a big crew turn up for the week to assist us, and every one of them that turns up really enjoys the event. It's certainly nothing in New Zealand that I know of and that I've attended that would be anywhere close to this. The amount of cars on our road and owned in this country is absolutely phenomenal. We keep saying it can't get any better, but it always does.
Repco has even more parts for even more cars, with steering, braking, filtration, engine parts and more. Leading brands like CRC, Armour All, Turtle Wax, JVC, Kenwood, Pioneer, Unit and more. And the best performing oils by Castrol, Mobil, Penrite, Valvoline and more. Repco, what an auto store ought to be.
At Classic Cover Insurance, agreed value means agreed value. No fish hooks. There's a lot of reasons why your hot rod or classic should be insured with Classic Cover. To find out more, jump onto our website and see for yourself.
I think it is a special event. I mean, the scenery for a start. We're in a beautiful part of New Zealand. It's not held in a big city where you got traffic lights. You know, we don't have traffic lights in our beautiful little coastal towns. And I think that's what's special. The people come from the cities, other places. They leave all their stuff behind, all their baggage, come over the hills, the Coromandel Mountains to this beautiful coastal area, and let's have some fun.
Back at the Repco Whirianga Beach Party, they were still rolling in. A parade of this size takes a while to filter through. Once parked, you had plenty of options. Wander around 800 cars worth of eye candy, grab a bite, or catch some live music. We decided it was a good time to track down Bruce and his Willys pickup all the way from Christchurch.
Mate, I came here in 2015 as a spectator, had a wonderful time, and the bucket list had, I have to bring my car here when it's finished. And we've achieved that, which is great. It's a hell of an event, you know, just so much fun. The people, everybody talks to you. It's really good. I think Noddy's done a fantastic job of it over the years. I take my hat off to him. The 1941 Willys pickup truck. It's been on the road since February last year. It was finally certified to go on the road. It's running big block Chev with a turbo 400. It's making around about 600 horse, I think, somewhere around about that. It's been dynoed at 600, but I did some work on it after that, so it's probably a wee touch more. Yeah, had the vision in my head from day one, and it took 8 years to do it, with a couple of interruptions along the way with earthquakes and God knows what else. So it was never built as a show car. It was just built as a car to drive, and I used to get brassed off bloody going on the runs of my other car, you know, and I just couldn't wait to get it finished. So yeah, so now we can do that.
Another standout car was Ian Neary's Eruption, a Plymouth GTX built to reset the bar in New Zealand show car standards. This is a car destined for the elite level of SEMA show halls. And although Ian had previously hinted at his intentions to put miles on it, we kind of thought he was joking.
No, I wasn't kidding. I really want to drive this car. I've got to look after it in the early stages, but now that it's finished, 8 years of hell is now heaven. The beach hop is one of the highlights for most hot rodders in New Zealand, and I'm so excited to be back here this year that I've got a car finished. And coming to Whitianga this year, a good call, very good. The reception here today, the amount of cars, the public, the response is fantastic.
It's hard to get across just how much customisation has gone into this car. In fact, it's almost insulting to refer to the Plymouth by that, its factory name.
Yeah, the people are starting to spot that it looks like a 60s Plymouth, but it's so different, yet it's still the same. And now they're starting to sort of ask the questions on what has been done to make it still look so good and yet subtle.
Testament to Repco Beach Hop's reputation, the 2017 festival attracted its fair share of international guests. And it seemed custom car icon Gene Winfield wasn't the only American legend on site.
Chuck Miller, all the way from the USA. Good to see you here, buddy.
Glad to be here.
Chuck, too, is hot rodding royalty, a past Riddler winner and Detroit Autorama Builder of the Year. But down here in little old New Zealand, he was discovering that hot rodding is a universal language.
If any car guy got cut, oil would come out. I mean, it's just the car thing. It's the people. You know, once you're into it, you're into it, and it's a great sport, hobby, business, whatever words you want to put on it. It's right there.
And Chuck wasn't just here for a holiday. He was a man on a mission, announcing a plan that would see a replica of his '68 Riddler-winning fire truck built right here in New Zealand, before being shipped stateside to display with the original to mark the 50th anniversary of its debut. That's before bringing both back here to take part in Beach Hop 18. So, does the thought of recreating such a landmark car make him nervous?
Sure. Oh, yeah. But I look at it, too, it's just a great honor for somebody to want to recreate something that I built. You know, I think that's really an honor, and especially another country to where you know about my fire truck, you know, and I just thought that's amazing, really.
Thursday's Repco Beach Party drew to a close and the convoy began winding its way home. The new Whitianga destination had ticked all the right boxes and cemented its place as a regular feature of the event itinerary. The plan is to alternate with festival favourite Tairua from here on. Meanwhile, back in the Beach Hop HQ of Whangamata, we decided it was time to track down one of our top cars, Andrew Sinclair's Superbird. Get ready to be just a little jealous. This car was actually a gift.
Very, very lucky lad, actually. Yes, I turned up at my father's house for a family meeting one day, me thinking that there was all the bad things were going to happen, and this car rolled out of the garage, and Dad got out of it and threw me the keys and said, "Happy birthday." So, you know, very, very lucky. Words can't describe how lucky I am. They got everything perfect: the wheels, the colour, the stance, the drivetrain, everything perfect.
That's not to say Andrew was a stranger to American cars, far from it. In fact, there's a reason why this bad bird is bang on. That's because it was built in Andrew's head well before taking shape as the car you see before you.
And that's how it came about. We sitting around having a beer and talking about it, and we'd go through the car and how we would do it, what wheels, what colour, and that's where it started from. And he listened to it long enough and decided to actually do something about it, which was very cool. I just love the history, actually. You know, back in late 60s, early 70s, with factories competing with each other to go as fast as they could around super speedways. It's just such a cool time, and they're a car that looks so different. They're just super cool as far as I'm concerned. So it's a 1970 Roadrunner, been built into a Superbird, which is what they did in the day. Took a Roadrunner off the production line and fitted the nose cone and the rear wing and a few other bits and pieces. 426 Hemi, board and stroke to 472 cubic inch, about 640 horse on the dyno. Had to be. That was one of the beer talk things. Had to be a Hemi. So yeah, it's cool. It's very cool. It's a very enjoyable drive. Actually, drives really nicely. And of course, the faster you go, the better it feels too. The aero starts actually working. You can actually feel it working. So yeah, it's a lot of fun at the higher speeds.
A minor detail like the sun retiring for the day does little to slow the Repco Beach Hop's pace. Venture your way down to Whangamata's main drag Port Road on any night and you'll find a whole other world. Seeing these machines navigate the Coromandel's winding roads is one thing, but the constant procession of gleaming paint and shimmering chrome under the neons and street lighting is another entirely. Bands get in on the gig too, setting up shop in storefronts, marquees and bars, and with the backdrop set to cruise speed, you'd be forgiven for thinking you'd stepped onto the set of American Graffiti, the Whangamata edition. The Repco Beach Hop crew decided to take it one step further this year and ran 3 drag cars down Lincoln Road, including another US guest, the world-famous Rat Trap Fuel Altered. Being near pitch black, this was a little hard to capture on film, but it sure was an assault on the senses. The sight, but more so the sound, quite possibly marking this as the first and last time we will see this on Whanga's Rose. And while the evening traffic rumbled its way into the night to the tune of the local gas station's till ringing, the realisation sinks in that as far as Repco Beach Hop goes, we're just getting started. Friday will see the ever-popular Castrol Edge Thunder Cruise wind its way to beachfront Whangamata, and Saturday is just nothing short of massive with its grand parade and no less than 6 shows all over Whangamata. Yep, you ain't seen nothing yet.
We just want people to have fun. We want people to soak up the atmosphere, to be a safe family event. People are responsible with their driving. That's the big thing. We don't want people doing burnouts and stuff. That's not what we're all about. And, importantly, the Beach Shop, we're a non-profit charity. So at the end of the day, if we've made some money that we can give away to our emergency services like the Surf Life Saving Club and the Coast Guard and Westpac Helicopter, that's what we're all about. We've done our job.
You've got 8 seconds to get on that plane. You're not gonna make it, you gotta push it.
Castrol Edge has fluid titanium technology for maximum engine performance. You can't be fast and furious without Castrol Edge. See The Fate of the Furious in theaters this April.
You're tuned into special coverage of Repco Beach Hop 17. It's autumn, and although the Coromandel's busy summer holiday season is done and dusted, the hop heats up the peninsula in a new way as thousands of classic cars, bikes and caravans roll their way into Whangamata. Throw in a generous helping of good old-fashioned rock and roll and 100,000 spectators or so, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why Repco Beach Hop holds the crown as the biggest nostalgia festival in the Southern Hemisphere.
We want to turn this area into what it was like in the 50s and 60s. So the cars, we try our very, very best to make them all pre-1972. So these are the cars that you would have seen cruising around New Zealand streets in those times, or anywhere around the world. Hot rodding and classic cars and muscle cars, it's huge in New Zealand. I think, cars per capita, we must be up there on the top in the world. So it's a big part of our culture.
How would you start to explain it? Oh my God, that is a hell of a question.
The best week of cars you can have. Cars, cruising, good weather hopefully.
People that love cars, no matter what sort of car it is, I mean, they're all good.
Everybody's got their own take on their own car. They can be cars of the same make and model, even the same colour, but everybody has their different, what they want in a car. The moment you're leaving on Sunday, you're still seeing vehicles that you haven't seen before, there's just so much stuff here,
Oh, car crazy people and coming to a great event at the beach,
I think first what you've got to do, and it's probably not that PC, but I think you've probably got to stick some high-octane leaded petrol under their nose and just give them a sniff of that and just go, well, this is what it's all about down here, mate. It's about combustion engines and big ones burning lots of fossil fuels.
They sure did plenty of that. The hop doesn't sit still for long. And while the ever-growing convoy has already made its way to both Waihi and Whitianga, Friday's journey to Whangamata would only be a few more numbers on the odometer.
You bought these cars to drive. Okay, they look great looking in a show and on shiny and fantastic. But the thrill you get of being in the car, windows down, arm out, rest out like that, the sound of the V8.
People at work call today Friday. Round here, we call it the Castrol Edge Thunder Cruise. And New Zealand motorsport legend Greg Murphy was enlisted to lead the now 1,000-strong cavalcade over the hill from Whanga to Whangamata's beachfront reserve.
What's happening today, thousands of people are enjoying looking at some of the coolest pieces of metal you will ever see on the planet. I love it. I just can't get enough of it.
And clearly he's not the only one. Rain or shine, the Castrol Edge Thunder Cruise has always been a firm favourite with hop entrants.
It's not hard to get involved and want to be here, and fortunately through one of my partners that I've been in, had lots to do with over the years, Castrol, get to come along and enjoy it in all its splendour. You just have to take a look around here, over this weekend here at Beach Hop to understand how many people enjoy American muscle and have got a story to tell or an association or attachment in some way, shape or form. And it's just a culture, and, people just love showing it off and coming and talking about what they've got and their stories with what they've got. So, you don't need too many other reasons than that, really.
Thunder Cruise regular Carl Boniface was back this year with his Nitro Flashback funny car in tow, putting the fear into small children and grown men alike with fire-ups of 2,500 horses worth of nitro-methane snorting Chevy. While a big step back highlights the sheer scale of the day as the reserve transforms into a sea of cars and crowds. In contrast to the Waihi and Whitianga cruises the days before, Whangamata's compact landscape jams them all in one place, and boy, it's quite a sight. It also gave us the chance to corner yet another new build from the south, and when we say new, we mean new.
So it was only about 5k before we got up here, so I was pretty nervous yesterday or the day before when we did our first run to Waihi. So, but no, it's touch wood, still going. We haven't had to use any spare parts. The tow rope's still in the boot, and the can of petrol hasn't been opened, but I've been to a lot of service stations. So. I'm a mechanic by trade, and I do like to have things right, so I've put a bit of effort into making it more of a show car than just a car.
Restoring a car can be tricky enough even if you know what parts you need. It gets worse when piecing together a replica of a movie car, the finer details often only referenced by a quick pause on the DVD player.
I suppose it was just sourcing the bolt-on bits, like the console and the roof, things like that. I hunted all over Australia and couldn't find, somebody that made them. It was very hard to get the right details of one because the views and the films are not really complete. You might get half of it. Anyway, I found a man in the States that supplied all that sort of stuff, so I ordered it all from him, the wheel centres and the console. And when I got it and unpacked it and pulled it apart to wire it all up, it was made in Australia. So it had done a big circle, but I know where to get them now.
A quick look around the Thunder Cruise confirms Repco Beach Hop is pretty high on the priority list for a large chunk of New Zealand's hot rodding community. And for others, it's just plain compulsory.
It's non-negotiable every year since 2009 we've been coming, and 1st of October I'm up every morning early and entering Beach Hop.
I turned around and said, sorry dear, we're not going to Beach Hop this year. One of two things, I'd stay home alone or there'd be a divorce. Yeah, we look forward to Beach Hop every year. Where else can you wake up every morning, hop in your hot rod or your car and go and cruise with like-minded people, wander into town, bump into somebody, have a chat. You might not even know them, but they'll start talking to you about cars or this, that and the other. It's just awesome.
And with that level of hop dedication, spending a week in the passenger seat just wasn't going to fly for either party.
The 1957 Chevy Stepside pickup, and it's running a ZZ4 350 crate engine. Bought it in 2012. It came from Modesto in California. Doug had actually bought me an Apache prior to that one, and it was manual with no power steering and a little bit hard to drive, and then that came up for sale and I saw it and had to have it.
I wanted something a little weeny bit different. It's a 55 Buick Century Riviera, two-door hardtop. It runs an LS1 and 4L60 trans with a Ford rear end. Mari and I, over the years as a young couple, did a lot of motorsport, rallying together, and Mari was co-driving. And what got us into the hot rodding thing was, aside from the passion of cars, our daughter is a rock and roll dancer. So rock and roll and the cars go together. We just live and breathe the cars now, more so than we ever have.
A sentiment they're far from alone in. Trev Halstead caught the bug way back, and his symptoms manifest in the shape of 50 Zero Studebakers, 2 examples of which have previously been top 5 cars at the Beach Hop. Both those were heavily customised, but this most recent build warranted a more factory theme.
Well, initially I couldn't afford a Ford custom line, so I bought a Studebaker, which was a side valve 6, but after that I got into the bullet noses, and I just like the style, I like the different. Been building Studies since about 1971, 1972. It's a 1956 Skyhawk. They only made them in 1956. The following years they had fins and quite a few other different features about the car. It's the original motor, the original transmission, and on the original body shell. It's a 289 Studebaker V8. It's got a mild cam in it just to, help it along a little bit. Basically, the whole car is exactly as it came out of the factory, except it's got wire wheels, and I changed them to suit the venue, perhaps, of what we're doing. And there's a couple of stainless covers in the engine bay that weren't there originally. Everything else that's there was there when it was in the factory. It just didn't look quite so shiny. Yeah, I get a big buzz out of doing them. It's a lot more fun doing a real bad one and getting a nice finish than, doing a nice easy one. Nice easy ones, well, they're just sort of run-of-the-mill, But I also tend to buy really bad cars to start with, because they're a lot cheaper.
Saturday. Where on earth do we start? While the other Coromandel towns have each had their go, Saturday is all about Whangamata. A threatening forecast thankfully stayed clear, and once again, it would be a day of record-breaking numbers. Repco Beach Hop started its life 17 years back as a rock and roll festival, and believe it or not, the cars were just the supporting act. Time has well and truly turned the tide there, but Saturday's massive Grand Parade pays tribute to the Hop's beginnings, taking it back to its roots in rock and roll to kick things off, before a mass of bikes, hot rods, classics and customs march their way along Port Road. For the huge crowd, the parade is a great chance to let the big show come to you, to stand back and watch the Hop roll by. And as becomes the case with an event of this scale, it's ultimately another chance to see all the cars you've somehow missed over the last 3 days, and the lineup featured plenty of previous show winners and crowd favourites. One loop later and the proceedings come to a halt. The now parked parade transforming Whanga's main drag into the massive Maguire's Main Street car show. Bands fire into life on cue, and the scale of the Hop's overhaul of Port Road suddenly becomes very apparent, especially if you're a passing seagull. And if the show and shine of the big parade had you all inspired, the Maguire's team had you sorted.
Yeah, every year here we come down and we set up the stand and put the products on display, and we have the Main Street car show for the day, and we have the parade come through in the morning, which is fantastic. We've got hundreds of cars in that, so it's a really good spectacle for everyone to line the streets and get up nice and close to the cars as they rumble down the main road here in Whangamata. We have demos going throughout the day, so we're going to be demoing our dual action power system, which is the drill attachment, so to make your life a bit easier for cutting and polishing and waxing your cars. So we're going to have those demos going throughout the day. I've seen some of these cars over the last few years being built and being painted and that, and seeing them here for the first time on the road, it's absolutely fantastic. So seeing them going through that process is just awesome.
There are those who appreciate design and those who drive it. Rethink Ford Mondeo.
Saturday is the big one here at Repco Beach Hop 17, and now that the Grand Parade is parked up, the festival splits into smaller themed shows and locations all over the Whangamata township. Smaller is a relative term, however. The Maguire's Main Street Car Show is a monster that stretches the length of downtown Whangamata. The wharf end of town plays host to the Century Batteries Classic Car Show, while venturing southwest would eventually lead you to the Retro Caravan Show, which has invaded Whangamata's local school. First stop, though, the Repco Pre-49 Hot Rod Show.
It's so great to see the sun shining today for the Repco Pre-49 show. Great turnout of cars once again. The car park's absolutely full, and we're very fortunate this year to have a gentleman by the name of Chuck Miller to attend our stand and also be a guest judge. So based on that, today's winning car will certainly be a worthy winner. It's where the car enthusiasts start unbolting things and making the cars not quite look like they did when they first come out of the factory, but that is true hot rodding.
Under 3 foot tall and short of a few teeth? No problem. The Tot Rod Show had you covered. While up the road, things got a whole lot bigger in scale with the exponentially popular Retro Caravan Show. A few years back, there were just a handful on show. This year, well, there's not much grass left. Attracting a fair chunk of that crowd was this combo belonging to Alex Ross, his 59 Impala, a previous top 5 car in its own right.
Well, it started with the car, which has now been back on the road for coming up 9 years. And the last few years, the whole retro caravan scene has become quite popular. And I started looking at it probably 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. And I thought, I really want one, and how fabulous it would look if we had one matching the Impala. And then you look around at the caravans and you see Lilliput. That's the one I want because they are iconic. And also they're all fiberglass, which makes them quite light. So after a little bit of searching, we eventually found one, bought it from a little old lady, Marjorie in Papamoa, hence the name of the caravan. And over the last couple of years, we've done the restoration to bring her up to the same sort of spec and colour and everything to match the Impala. Well, she's a 1976 Lilliput Gazelle. About 250 of them were made back from the early 60s to the late 70s, maybe 1980. They become iconic in terms of retro caravans, and the beauty of them is they're set very low because the body's mounted under the chassis, and you can get them into a normal car garage, which suits a lot of people. You don't have to find somewhere to store the caravan. It's all about the personality of the person who's doing it, and I think what's come through certainly in Marjorie is our personality. We're not quiet, shy, retiring people. It certainly adds a whole new dimension to what Beach Hop is all about. To me, it's great that by including the caravans, it's added a whole family atmosphere to it, which I think is important for people that don't have the cars, can't afford to have the cars, but they do have the caravans because they've got the kids and they like to do the whole retro camping thing.
Williamson Park is the place to be come Saturday afternoon and received its usual Ford overhaul, especially for the hop, complete with a lineup of old and new heroes of the mark.
Oh, it's amazing, you know, I've been in the industry 30 years and Ford for 6.5 years now, and the passion behind the people that drive Fords, and particularly the guys that get them and drive them and do them up, is amazing. And to be part of that brand is pretty special. And coming down to Beach Hop's an amazing event. We like to obviously support that, and part of that is the passion that comes through talking to people over the whole week. Just amazing, and you can just see that passion coming through.
The Hop has long given away a Ford vehicle or 3 to a lucky showgoer. This year, the team decided to keep things fresh with a collaboration that resulted in a run of 20 special Beach Hop Edition Mustangs. The best part? Yep, one of them was the big prize on Saturday.
We thought, what can we do differently this year? We thought, you know, if we can get 20 special Mustangs for people can take. And actually, to be fair, we've only got 6 left now, so it's pretty special. And obviously, this afternoon we'll see one of them go. It's a car-mad country, and Mustang is a big part of New Zealand culture now. It's huge.
Apparently, the big prize draw wasn't exactly a secret. Up for grabs, along with the Beach Hop Mustang, was this retro caravan plus 10K in cash. The drawn winner gets first choice of the 3. But there was plenty to keep the massive crowd entertained before the big draw, with the Junkyard Fashion Show, the super popular retro pin-up beauty pageant, which sported its biggest field of entrants ever, and the finals of the talent show Beach Hop Idol. Local busker Christian Dillon taking the honours with Sinatra's Fly Me to the Moon. But there was little doubt why much of this lot were here. The big giveaway. The deal? Get your entry form in over the week, correctly answer the easy question, and get yourself down to Ford Reserve for the draw.
We would like to bring you up on stage, Graham.
Graham Bailey got all those things right and was lucky enough to get the call-up, predictably choosing the keys to one very cool limited edition Beach Hop Ford Mustang, kindly run in by Mr. Noddy Watts over the event. As far as souvenirs go, it doesn't get a lot better than this.
Okay, thumbs up, let's go.
After a monster Saturday, Sunday takes on a much more laid-back feel for the final day of Repco Beach Hop. The classic cover Nostalgia Fair serves up more live music while sitting pretty centre stage is the Century Battery's Top 10 Shootout, featuring the most popular cars, bikes and caravans as chosen by the public over the week.
To get into the top 5, it's not necessarily about having sort of the elite level build. You've got to have the impact, and it's got to be sort of attention getting. You've got to be everywhere. So people sort of look for their favourite cars throughout the whole event. So it's not like you can just come to Beach Hop and do the Saturday of the event and go, hey, yeah, cool, I'm going to get into the top 5. It's, it's a people's choice thing, and the people have spoken.
The eventual winner is again decided by people's choice. This time, a gold coin in the bucket of your favourite casts your vote, with all donations going to Whangamata Surf Lifesaving. As the votes rolled in, it was anyone's game. After all, these were all crowd favourites over the event. The top 3 bikes were a diverse mix. Mike Schween and last year's winner Wilson Ford's Harleys lost out to Carrie McCarthy's 2013 Misfit Chopper, all the way from Queenstown and on the back of its 4th consecutive top 10 spot, no less. Alex's Impala and Lilliput combo had been a huge hit all week, and few were surprised to hear his name called for the win. Heading up the cars lineup was Dan Jones in his super embellished 63 Impala wagon, built to traditional lowrider styling with mind-boggling detail. Bruce Carter has put 40,000 miles on his 33 Ford Tudor and also picked up Chuck Miller's choice for best hot rod, while Kevin Jellyman's US-built 53 F100 packs a 460 cube Cobra motor and extensive detailing. The truck is already a show winner, and Kevin was keen to add the Beach Hop trophy to the mantelpiece. Next in line was Bruce McKenzie with his 600 horsepower 41 Willys pickup, the incredible result of an 8-year build that had already caught the eye of fans at Waihi on day 1. But there can only be one winner, and that honour goes to Martin and Marion Bennett, who floored the Repco Beach Hop 17 crowd with a full overhaul on their 55 Ford Ranch wagon. A big surprise, as the car had been seen not all that long ago in a very different finish.
Oh, absolutely blown away, yeah. I enjoyed building the car, but the expectation of this was not even in my mind. Yeah, it was unbelievable. But I've had the car for 14 years, and my wife said to me, you need to get rid of that car. So I said, well, the engine's locked, so we decided to pull the engine out, and then I thought, well, I might as well paint under the bonnet. And then once I did that, I thought, well, I actually like this car, why don't we finish it again? So, yeah, 12 days before Beach Hop, we put it together. Nothing like a deadline, yeah. So I'm really happy with the result, and now it's a keeper.
And on that note, yet another massive Repco Beach Hop draws to a close. With over 1,200 registered entrants, an estimated 120,000 strong crowd, and tens of thousands of dollars raised for local emergency services, it's easy to see why late March continues to have a big circle around it on the calendars of New Zealand's petrolhead population. Great stuff.
Just take my hat off, excuse me, but take my hat off to all the people that and the crew of Beach Hop. They just work tirelessly. Nobody realises just how much work goes on and behind the scenes. And I say thank you very much, guys. And I'm sure from everybody here, if they knew how much work went on, they would be astounded. It's really something special.
And we'd better leave the last words to Mr. Beach Hop himself. Noddy Watts. Just don't expect too many of them.
I think I've used up all my words for the weekend. My dictionary is finished.
Thanks for tuning into our coverage of the Repco Beach Hop. If you haven't already done so, make sure you grab yourself a copy of NZV8's Beach Hop Annual for a ton more great Repco Beach Hop 17 action. And finally, thanks to these great businesses who made this coverage possible. You're awesome.